Hello, we are live, and there are lots of comments already. Let's see. Before we get started, everything is alleged and our opinion only, but I'm going to give it a few minutes for everybody to hop on and read these comments real quick. Are you still here, Mr. Mitchell Callahan? This is awesome. I've never had this many comments before I even logged on. I'm going to read them really fast. Un momento, por favor. Okay, thank you. Wait, there's footage. Interesting. Pav has it. Interesting. I agree that the Grub truck footage is pretty much irrelevant, other than the fact that it looks, it doesn't look right to me. And I think Birdie went over it a little bit, like the truck is different and things like that. So I agree with that. I should put these on the screen. Please be aware the real killers watch these sites and what people say. I know firsthand, unfortunately. I'm sure they do. Whatever happened to the blonde who lived nearby that said that night someone turning her doorknob? Last I heard, she moved to California. Oh, I do know what happened. I don't know what happened to her, but I do know the person that was turning her door handle. His name is, I have it. Hold on. I was going to talk about it today, actually. I have a picture of him, too. Let's see. His name is Jose Cruz. He's short. He's like 5'5". He was breaking into people's houses dressed in all black, standing over them with a knife. And at one point he raised the knife on, I want to say it's this girl that you're talking about, raised the knife at her. And that's when she kicked him in the stomach and he took off. But his name is Jose Cruz. They looked at him, but then didn't do anything. You know, obviously they didn't test the other DNA and things like that. So, yeah, but apparently they did look at him. I don't know how far they looked into him, but yeah, his name is Jose Cruz. But yes, I know exactly who you're talking about. And that whole situation, there were other houses. He was watching in windows, and there were other people's houses that he broke into as well, which is strange, right? Wouldn't you think to really investigate the person who's dressing in black, breaking into people's houses and standing over them with a knife for a crime where a house was broken into basically and the victims were unalived with sharp force? Like, I mean, same time frame. I mean, that one girl, I think it happened the same night or the night before? I think it was the night before. Hi, bestie girl. Oh no, don't watch it, Mandy. I'm going to play it. I have it broken down and the times to stop and go so we don't have to listen to that one weirdo guy they have on there. Yes, I'm going to play the interview right now. Hi, Steven. Hi, Fizzy. And once again, Fizzy, thank you for that email because I'm going to share that as well. Hey, Pumpkin. Hey, Shoe Booty. Shoe Booty. Okay, good. Yes, yes, yes. He says, stop. He sounds like a nice guy. I know, right? Sorry, Mandy. I have a new bestie. It's Jose Cruz. We're going to stand over people and wearing black with knives. Yeah, super creepy. Hello, Cat. You only saw the first 10 minutes? Okay, good. Stop. I got you. Don't worry. I'm like, hi, Carol. I'm like, I'm so glad this came out last night because I had obviously an hour's worth to talk about, but I was like, I really, really wanted to play something other than just my mouth flapping. So, oh, you almost lost your bestie spot. Stop it. No, I'm just kidding. I would never do that to you. But okay, let me get situated because I was doing things and stuff. So I almost had to work late again today and I almost had to cancel, but I didn't. So thank the Lord. So yeah, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go over this new interview with the interview room. And I am so sorry. I cannot stand, I call him Chris McDougal. I can't stand him. He drives me freaking nuts. So, and then whoever this Gary Bricado is that's on here, I have no idea who that is, nor do I want to hear him talk. So what I did is I just wrote down the times. I'm going to start it and stop it just when the G's are talking. But there's a lot at the end that is just them. It starts to get into like politics and stuff. I don't care about that. Sorry. But I have it. So I'm going to break it down, and it's going to end up being about 20 minutes or so. And with me flapping my mouth, it'll probably be about 25 minutes. So let's see. Your handle changed. Oh, cat. Okay. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Wait, you saw me on Birdie? What did I do? Oh, in the chat? Yeah. Okay. Many believe Koberger was the one to break in those apartments, including a year earlier in 21. It happened. Yeah, it wasn't Koberger in 21. We know that for a fact because they looked into that, and then they had his phone records and it showed he was in Pennsylvania. They have been trying to put so many unalivings on Brian Koberger, like the one in Georgia, where the girl was walking her dog, waiting for her girlfriend in the bar to get off work. They tried to pin that one on him. And then obviously the one where his parents were called to the grand jury to whatever. I cannot remember her name. I don't remember. Oh my God. Sorry, I'm choking on air. Yes. Sorry. The media morons. Hello, Christina. Hello. Oh, that's what I was going to ask before I super get started. Will somebody remind me tomorrow, whether it's Fizzy or Christina or somebody, text me and remind me to look into other streaming services, because I keep forgetting until I click on StreamYard to freaking go live. And then I'm like, why do I do this? I need a different streaming service. Will somebody please remind me to look into it tomorrow? Okay, so the only little tiny smidge of respect I have for Chris McDougal is the fact that Truth and Transparency called him out and said, Chris McDonough, tell us or prove to us that you were the one that found that red fluid glove in the front yard that day. She was like, I give you 24 hours or whatever it is. And within 12 hours, he actually proved, he put it up on YouTube and he proved that he was the one who found that glove. Payne's a liar. I can't stand him. We can get him for perjury all day long. I don't know why they don't, especially now that he doesn't work there anymore. Anyway, Chris McDougal did prove he was the one that actually found that glove. So that's the only little bit of respect I have for him, is the fact that Truth and Transparency asked him for the truth. Hey, did you really find this? If so, prove it. And he did. He posted the pictures. So yes. All right. Let me get this started because I'm only going to be on for about an hour tonight. And let me figure out what time I need. Oh, I have it where I need to start it, I think. Let's see. So this is a new interview. This was done last night with the interview room with Chris McDonough and his wife, Karen, and then some Dr. Gary Bricado guy who I don't care what he says at all because I don't know who he is. So I'm going to go ahead and just start it. Obviously, I'm going to talk about, obviously, you guys know it's YouTube and we have to stop it like every minute or 3 minutes or whatever it is. I don't even know the rules. Okay. Let me stop talking.
Computer that represents the family, represents your child.
Do that. Why do I have no volume?
Represents what you.
Interesting. Can you guys hear me? You guys can hear me, right? Okay. Hold on. Let me figure out why I don't have volume. Hum. Why don't I have volume? This is so weird. Maybe not. Maybe I won't be playing it. Let's see. Doobie-doo. Because if I turn that off, then my mic won't work. So, you can hear them? Okay, I can't hear them. Interesting.
Like, it's very personal. He's defending.
I don't know why I can't hear them. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to see if... No, I still can't hear him. Sorry, guys. I don't know what this is doing. It's never done this before. As I sniffle in your ear. Sorry. Let me see. This is wild. I don't know why it's doing this, nor do I know how to fix it, because I can't really comment on it if I can't hear it. Huh. Maybe if I move it to a different computer screen? This is crazy. I've never had this happen. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, y'all. Bear with me. Hold on. Let me Google it. La, la, la. Yeah, I'm going to ask ChatGPT 1 second if I could spell words right. On YouTube, why can... Oh, on YouTube, hold on, live, why can my audience hear the audio, but I can't because I'm slow? Oh, that's why. Oh, and I know why too. Oh, sorry, I'm snotty today. Okay, I have it on the wrong output, maybe? Let's see, hold on. One moment, sorry, I am trying to figure this out. Devices, sound. All right, so can you guys tell me? Hi, Bronxy. Hi, baby. Hi, sweet boy. You want to come up here? You come up here? Come here. Okay, never mind. He doesn't want up here. Okay, so can you tell me if you can hear this still? I'm going to play it. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear it.
Not going in. And, we went in by ourselves. It was just a huge...
So when you lose a child, you need a prosecutor that represents the family, represents your child, represents what you like. It's very personal. He's defending my daughter, and he defended her like a weak coward.
Cat, you can't hear it?
That man doesn't deserve Katie.
Okay,
he doesn't
let me go back.
deserve that representation.
Oh no, it's right there. There
It's
we
like, no, I don't agree with this. I'm not going in. And, we went in by ourselves. It was just a huge...
So when you lose a child, you need a prosecutor that represents the family, represents your child, represents what you like. It's very personal. He's defending my daughter, and he defended her like a weak coward. That man doesn't deserve Katie. He doesn't deserve that representation. And to align myself with him and that team was just, I did it because I had no choice.
Hi, Bunny.
I would have sold everything that I had to go buy my own prosecution.
Yes, I can
If
hear.
I could have just had Shannon Gray in that room and prosecute for us, I tried to do that. I tried to be my own prosecutor. I literally was like,
Doesn't work that way.
save the state of Idaho, all this. Kaylee, and I wasn't asking the other families to be it. I would just, you get the death penalty.
Can you guys still hear me? It says my volume is working. So I just want to make sure you can hear the interview and you can hear me.
For one murder. Let's not act like you had to have all the families on one page. One murder gets you the death penalty in Idaho. And he played that. And he played the families against each other. He didn't tell us what happened to Ethan. We didn't know any details.
You guys keep in mind, he paid that bill.
About him. We didn't even know the details about any of the other victims. So to have the totality, to ask us to go forward and say, do you want to make a plea deal? And not give us the totality, not give us the common respect of what this individual did, just showed me what a low character man this prosecutor was. Such a low character person that he was going to subdivide us and put us in silos and then ask us to make a decision that literally held him accountable for everything he did without the facts of everything he did. He purposely lied to us. He purposely manipulated us. And that was unacceptable for me. And I let him know that. That man knows where I stand. And it put me in a spiral. It put me in an anger-filled spiral because I had somebody who manipulated all the families and got what he wanted, which was the weakest way to deal with this killer. He didn't stand up to a bully. He caved into him.
He's going to say something important here in a few seconds. Hold on. I have it at playback speed at 1.5, just so you guys know it's going to be a little bit faster. But he's going to say something here in a second, and I want you guys to pay attention.
He negotiated with him. He asked him for terms. He took all the strength that he could have had, and he gave it away, and he groveled. He got on his knees. He begged for this guy to literally do this plea deal. And
did you guys hear that? I've been saying this whole time, when everybody else said the defense went to the prosecution asking for a plea, no. And I've been saying this whole time, and I never wavered from it. The prosecution went to the defense, and he just said it. So, told you so. Not you guys, but the other ding-dongs.
It's disgusting. And he just let us down. And we hope to fix the story when it's all said and done. But today it is what it is. And we do these kind of interviews to let people know where we stand.
Oh, yeah. All right. So I'm going to move it up a little bit. Well, maybe if I moved the actual time and not the volume, that'd be great. Do. Okay.
Wait.
Oh, Jesus,
You
Lord.
gave yourself a flu vaccine?
At your house?
How?
Steve, doesn't it feel that way?
Yes. And we're so over it. We're just so over it. Hearing him complain about, I want to be moved to this other cell, literally requesting to be moved to another cell or denying just recently our restitution. Okay. Is it really about money? Everybody knows he's never going to pay a single dime. So why do they care if that's the most astronomical number in the world? What if it's $1 million? Who cares? But it just is that control.
Well, Christy, here's the thing. You know who cares? Brian Koberger cares, because if you were sitting in a prison for something you possibly didn't do, or I think he didn't do at all, the state of Idaho can actually take, I know before I said it was 75%, that's for other states. In Idaho, the state can take 20 to 25% of all commissary, all money that goes onto your account. So if you're sitting in a prison, Christy, for something you didn't do, and the only little bit of money you do get, they're going to take 25% of it. That's going to be quite a bit. I mean, prisons are a business. Prisons are for profit. So when you buy things on commissary, it costs 10 times more than what it would cost to walk into a dollar store or a Walmart or whatever to buy it. So, excuse me, the little bit of money he does get to get tiny little things, because I'm sure he's not getting a lot of money in there, that would be a large portion of his commissary. That's why it matters, Christy, especially when everything's been paid 10 times over. If it's not about money, then why are you going for restitution? Ugh. This woman
that, denying our restitution, wanting to argue and fight over that. He's not getting his banana. This guy over here is bullying him and saying rude things to him. It just goes to show that he feels like he is on the top. He controls it all. And I'm done with his narrative. I'm done.
Here's another thing too, is as America, we need to understand that our schools and our colleges are so far radicalized that they can let a person like this feel like he can control the room. He can control. And he controlled every classroom that he ever was in. And he was harassing women like an absolute monster. And
he is autistic. He doesn't understand physical space. He's autistic. So this drives me nuts. Like they don't put any weight into the fact that he's autistic.
Literally just said, well, he's doing it articulate. He's smart. He's intelligent. The way that he harasses you isn't simple enough for us to just kick him out of the room. So all you women are going to all have to come together and come and form a unified message before we will honor the fact that we think he's actually behaving this way. And that's what we've been dealing with. We've been dealing with this bully in a classroom, and he's been doing it his whole life. Maybe she got it from Molly. Who knows? I mean, no, I'm just kidding. I have it turned up, the speed turned up, so they can't get me for copyright. Where they were like, oh, he wants to be in the police academy. Go put him in the HVAC. He can't be around these girls. Well, why does he even want to be a part of your school? If you got a a really bad human being in your rankings,
Oh,
get rid of him.
God.
Don't go send him off to be somebody else's problem. This guy was just
Thank God I don't live in Idaho.
push all the way up to where he came to Washington. This guy had been problems his whole life.
But they just chalked it up to, you know, oh, he's just so brilliant. He's just so smart. This is this brilliant mind that doesn't think like others. And, you know, he's socially awkward. So we can't discriminate against him. And so you know, the lines are blurred.
The red flags were everywhere.
Yeah, red flags were there, but the lines
It's way beyond being socially awkward. It's way beyond that. He literally is autistic. Like,
were blurred. So it made it difficult. I don't know, but it's just not acceptable.
Every building the guy walked into, it sounded like it was painted red.
Yes.
Right. Forget the flags.
I think women have a natural instinct when they see somebody who looks at them from, I think you're attractive and I like you, to, no, this guy's looking at me differently. He's looking at me like prey. You know, there's certain guys that give off a vibe that's like one of the people that made a police report was like, I see 300 or 400 people a day and I've never made a police report before, but this guy looked at me and behaved in such a manner that is so in her instinct. This guy is different. He is hunting me. He is a psychopath. And she went and she, like I said,
maybe I thought it was Ozempic. Gosh, I gave him more credit than that. At least I thought it was Ozempic. Who knows?
400 people a day through this coffee shop, just handing out coffees all day long. And I
She'd probably been snorting Ozempic.
guarantee there's inappropriate men flirting with her, doing different things, but it was BK. It was this guy. The way he looked, something in her said, I'm making a police report. I'm going to make a police report on this guy. And I think we need to start, we got to start listening to these people that make these reports and stop, saying it's your word versus theirs. You know, this stuff starts, the totality of these things start adding up.
Isn't the point to, okay, they think Brian did it, right? Isn't the point to have the person who did it locked up for the rest of their life? Isn't that pretty much the point, right? So what are they so upset about? The point is to have the person who did this locked up, which you got money for it too. And you know, through GoFundMe's and everything like that, I'm sure you got paid for all your appearances, a pretty penny. I'm almost sure of it. So what are you so upset about? What else do you want?
Well,
Yeah.
it's very interesting because on the day of the impact statements, I was on a news program and I referred to the killer as being alien, as having an almost alien consciousness, like when you're with him. Yeah. And it was pointed out to me, I was reminded that your daughter.
To be so religious, I would just think that wanting somebody to be deceased, it wouldn't be, you know what I mean? Like the whole religion thing. I don't know. Maybe that's not their religion. I don't know what they believe in, but I don't know. I don't think that him being unalived would really fix it.
Had used the same term about him when giving the impact statement. And I think what people are picking up on is that robotic lack of compassion and kind of almost scientific detachment that this person has.
Oh, sorry.
And I think you feel that.
I didn't even mean to play him. I was supposed to go somewhere else. Sorry. I didn't mean to annoy you guys with his mouth. I annoy you enough with mine. Ha ha. Ha ha. We'll go.
Okay, if there's one AI site builder you need to meet, it's this dope tech from Wix.
Bundy, you're a bright, articulate individual, and I would have loved to have you, in front of my courtroom as a lawyer, but you chose a different path. Really? Really?
Thanks, Bianca.
And so you have righteous indignation is what I'll call it.
I appreciate you.
I will, support you guys 1,000% because, now you have to deal with this week with coming up with this
Brian
restitution
Koberger in the
hearing.
chat. On
How does that make you feel?
in Bronx Tales chat.
Hold on. Even worse than that was one of our daughters called us. We were just out just a couple hours ago, calling and saying, "I'm hearing about a movie. What's going on?" And like calling us for like we are mom and dad. We have the answers. We know what's going on, and she's calling us, and you can explain the conversation because you were on it.
I think I stopped it at the wrong one because I didn't want to talk about that yet. Cause doobie doobie doo. Dun, dun, dun. Okay,
Steve,
here.
doesn't it feel that way?
Yes. And we're so over it. We're just so over it. Hearing him complain about, I want to be moved to this other cell, like literally requesting to be moved to another cell or denying just recently our restitution. Okay. Is it really about money? Everybody knows he's never going to pay a single dime.
Okay,
so why do they care?
We'll go to 36. I thought there was something in between that I wanted to talk about, but never mind.
Bundy, you're a bright, articulate individual, and
Calling us, and you can explain the conversation.
every
Sorry. Sorry. Okay,
I
there
will,
we go.
support you guys 1,000% because, now you have to deal with this week with coming up with this restitution hearing. How does that make you feel?
Hold on. Even worse than that was one of our daughters called us. We were just out just a couple hours ago, calling and saying, "I'm hearing about a movie. What's going on?" Like calling us.
The only reason she's mad about this movie is because she wasn't asked to be in it, right? Are we all in agreement with that? Because then they don't have control over it. She doesn't have control over it. That's the only reason they're mad about that. Don't get it twisted. They're mad because they didn't get that phone call to be in control of it, to, make all the calls on it, to be a part of it or be in it. They're mad of who's playing what character. Here's the thing. You're trying to tell me that in your life, any of the Gonsalves have never sat down and watched a movie based on true events? What? Stop it.
Us for we are mom and dad. We have the answers. We know what's going on. And she's calling us.
Exactly.
You can explain the conversation because you were on it. But that's an example of the control that you lose. Like literally she's calling, I'm hearing that there's going to be a movie and this guy's going to be,
I swear he says and does the most awkward, weirdest stuff. That's hilarious.
BK and Kaylee's going to be this. How is this legal? How
can this happen, Mom? How can this happen?
Did you guys approve of this? Is this something that we're a part of? And we're like,
I just told her that we were aware of it, and I didn't know how it could happen. And
we've lost control of our own children's names.
Yeah, like people can do it, honey.
It's another way of victimizing you. Like somebody murders your child, and then they go and say, "Let's go turn this into a hell of a movie." And everyone can go out on Friday, watch your daughter get sliced to pieces, have some popcorn and a double freaking endless soda.
Right, exactly. Fizzy says he's acting like it's a blockbuster. It's literally a Lifetime movie. And like I just said, you guys are trying to tell me they've never sat down and watched a movie based on true events where somebody else is playing the characters? Stop it. Get out of here. Yes, you have. And I'm sure that you've sat down, not you guys, but them, have sat down and watched a movie where somebody gets unalived and it's played by other people and it's based on true events. At some point in their life, I'm sure they have. Suddenly, when it's them, they don't like it. No, you only don't like it because you're not getting paid for it. You're not in control of it and you're not part of it. You're just pissed that you weren't important enough to be called for it. That's it. That's where the anger comes from.
And we can make some money on it, and that's just the way it's supposed to go. And we are a fighting family. We want to fix the system. We are trying to make it better. That's why we held Thompson so accountable, because he had a family that was strong, and he could have put his foot down and said, "It's not every day I get a family that's willing to be this type of an anchor." But he threw that all away. He's always thrown that away. He's had.
What does he not understand? That this was never going to trial? This was never going to go to trial. I don't know what they don't understand about that.
6 murder cases. He's never done any of them to a conviction. The guy's just a loser upon a loser upon a loser. You got to say it 6 times. Loser 6 times. I mean, he's gotten his butt kicked over and over and over. And he's
wins for him.
But he's not good enough for Kaylee. Kaylee was a rock star, like as you see with Olivia.
Exactly, Carol. Did you guys hear that? He literally said your daughter sliced to pieces. Like, who says that? Who freaking says that?
As you see with my children, we demand the best, and he's not the best, and I shouldn't be asked to have some weak prosecutor be the only option that I have. Even when I'm willing to raise the funds to go find the good prosecutor, go find somebody who really wants the job, who isn't on retirement mode and is just kissing everybody in the community's butt. I need a guy who sees an outsider from Pennsylvania to the East Coast and says, "I'm going to take this guy and make an example of him." This is like the perfect example. An outsider coming in, hurting, killing, and destroying our community. I'm going to hold him accountable to the highest degree. Thompson was never the answer. He never will be. He just needs to retire and get out of the way. He's a mess.
Hopefully that's happening soon. But
it's too late. It's too late. 4 souls were lost.
Are left with other things, in the aftermath, such as movies and, it just dropping and documents dropping. And we just,
we didn't get a copy of it. We hired a lawyer. We did everything by the book, and said, release it to us first. Have some common courtesy.
They said they would.
Have some common courtesy to release it.
What did you do by the book? Wasn't he part of leaking information? I mean, wouldn't you think that Steve Gonsalves, would know who leaked the information? And if you were doing everything by the book, wouldn't you be part of fixing that? Telling them who leaked the information? Because I'm sure he knows. I'm sure he was part of it. Did everything by the book. Okay.
To us first, and they
when you got the when you got the information, the call, the knock on the door, whatever it was that your daughter was unalived horrifically, you didn't even go there. You didn't even like think, oh, let me get in my car and drive there. You just kept sitting on your couch watching football. Everything by the book.
Literally just gave us the bird and said,
They said they would.
we'll use
but-
your daughter's name to raise money and do all these fundraisers and do all this stuff, but you will not be treated any different than the common freaking community member. And ask me to back you. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm going to call you out for manipulating the situation.
So trying to plan a meetup with Molly somewhere to get information from her behind officers' back. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's by the book. That's wild. That's like witness tampering, isn't it?
So Steve, it's
Let me move over to 52. Jesus. Just
Hungry
play
Root
the
is here,
stupid
and I needed
commercial.
it because my fridge is super empty. I'm gonna open the box.
I think had they gotten that car on the 18th, when they, were in the arena there, for lack of a better term, we would have so much evidence in that car that the sheath would have been a bonus.
Yeah, totally.
No.
So
It wasn't until he got to take it home to mommy and daddy's and clean it in their shop for.
I'm going to argue that car was already part of another crime. That car was
Okay.
part of.
When did he have time to clean his car? When did Brian Kohlberger have time to clean his car? He parks in a public parking lot. Anybody there would have been able to come forward and say, I saw him cleaning his car that morning. We see it on video at Costco 3 hours later or 4 hours later or whatever it is, and it's dirty as crap on the outside. When did he have time to clean his car? Stop it. That wasn't clean. There just wasn't DNA inside of it, and you're pissed.
A drive-through in a coffee shop where he was harassing a girl.
Weirdo.
Okay.
And there's a police report that's out there floating where this female says, hey, I deal with 300-400 people a day. He's coming through my shop. He knows my last name. He knows my first name. I've never given him either one. And he seems to know my shift. So that car should have already been part of an investigation. So what your instincts are very close to the same instincts that we have, where something was going on.
I'm really, really curious. Had something happened to Samantha, would he be acting like this? Would he even be allowed to talk about it? Did he pay that bill? Steve, did you pay that bill for Samantha?
And
And the tickets that he had on campus.
the tickets. And remember, he's returning to campus. So it's not easy. I had an investigator. My investigator can't just go to Washington State's university and just jump on there and start interviewing people.
Yeah.
Right.
It's private property. It's a university. They can't do that. They provided him a safe harbor. He committed these murders and these crimes from that location, which provided him a sense of protection. And that's where he ran right when the crimes were over. He did this little weird loop, but he got himself back into a little protected envelope where it wasn't easy for the Idaho State people, the police to just go across state lines. And then now they had another obstacle. They had to go deal with a
Oh, Steve, you make a good point. Going across state lines. So wouldn't that make the case federal?
private business and say, hey, we need to go talk to these people on your campus because we've got some instincts that
His investigator is Olivia.
tell us that something happened in this classroom. Something happened here. And that's what
I think they've all been very tight-lipped about everything, though, as far as WSU goes. But yeah, they were
that
definitely
white
some
car was
conversations.
identified very early and
Yes.
never
We
reported.
do know that part.
And what never made any sense, even when I interviewed the now retired Washington State WSU police chief, is I asked him point blank, when your officers had the car parked outside of the killer's apartment, why didn't you go in and contact them? Why didn't they go up and do a field interview, as it's called, right? Why didn't they get a buckle swab from him? We now know they buckle swabbed 5 other people that they were looking at. They had him, they had the car, and all we got was a word salad. It didn't make sense. We pressed him on that. And to everyone's point here on panel is,
But the thing that they're not getting, they're saying all this stuff and they're not understanding. It didn't make sense because it didn't fit, because it wasn't him.
really, you could have prevented him leaving the campus. To Chris's point, you could have had the car. You could have had much more evidence from the car. You would have never had to have him, as you guys said, a couple of weeks to clean that car, to drive across the country. There wouldn't have been if you buckle swabbed him the day you had him on WSU campus, you would have never had to do a trash pull in Pennsylvania, which, by the way, is part of this 2,300 pages of documents. And from a journalist looking in, 85% roughly of what they released of the 2,300 pages was like throwing a dog a bone. They were redacted pages. There was nothing of value on.
Karen is, I call him Chris McDougal. His name is Chris McDonough. That is his wife.
On it. They're playing games, and they're being.
She just says whatever he says, which is fine. Do you? But I don't care for either of them.
Very crafty, because they're saying, well, we know we have, whatever, 200 FOIAs from 200 media outlets and social media people. So here's what we're going to give you. It's meaningless stuff. To your guys' point, open up the emails between University of Idaho president, Washington State University president, and the prosecutor. Or how about then Sergeant Gilbertson, Idaho State Police, he's now the lieutenant, who gave those word salad, ridiculous interviews to the national media, said nothing about the case of interest. And so, to your point, we are being, it's like, it's even worse, because a 2,300 page document dump sends you guys spinning as the victim's family.
Yeah.
And yet, what do we get from it? Not that much. Really,
So
not that
those
much
five
at the end of the day.
I don't even know the 5.
Isn't that what they wanted, though? So now they're pissed because they got information? God, stop it.
People, I've read them. Were any of them employees?
I'm sure they were.
Yeah, it's all redacted information.
All
It
redacted.
says a buckle swab from a male, and that's it. There's no other information that even
So I think
talks
it's a
about that.
conflict of interest when you don't want to basically investigate what you should be investigating. And I feel like some people weren't investigated on purpose. And I think that's part of what's going on right now with this dumping of all this stuff. And
So, I mean, he's basically saying other people should have been investigated. So, do you believe the narrative or do you not? I think that they have a lot of unanswered questions. I think that they do run with the narrative, but I also think that they think that there's other people involved. I still think that they think there's other people involved. And I think Olivia for sure thinks that, because why would you go there with a lawyer by yourself if you knew who did it and they've been sentenced? Why are you going there to get answers? Answers of what? What do you need answers for? Because according to you, they have the right person. So obviously, they think that other people are involved at the very least. If not, they have the wrong person.
I mean, you got a guy who's just repeatedly harassing women over and over and over. And we just have to listen to these young people.
If the parents of the victims have reasonable doubt, you sure should. I can't ever say that sentence. Why don't I even try? You, then the jury would.
That are saying,
For
hey,
sure.
this guy over here, if you give him a degree, he's a psychopath waiting to manipulate power. Maybe we should question this.
Hold the reins on getting this PhD.
Jerry?
Well, there's one other aspect of this that, for me, is like the elephant in the room. Is that if this were a situation where somebody commits a mass murder and then slips away into the
Anybody who disagrees with the narrative is automatically a conspiracy theorist. And in what world is a judge before a trial allowed to call the expert witness for the defense a conspiracy theorist? Where have you ever heard that? Where is that ever allowed to be said? That's absurd. Where's this at? 58. We're going to go to 109. 109. And a commercial. Whoops.
If you're taking anatomy and physiology for the first time, I can guarantee it's not like any course that you've ever taken. And that's why
Your daughter included. It feels like the investigators and Thompson lessened the extent of the injuries because we were all shocked more recently about them. And I don't want to get into it because it's got to be very difficult for you guys. But the fact that the prosecutor did that. And I feel like that had we known, we meaning you guys, it doesn't matter what we think, you're the victim's family.
Steve, one sec.
If you had known what you know now, collectively the information, now you guys made your voices heard and he did the plea deal anyway, but I can't help but thinking, does it feel like everything was lessened? And if so, what reason do you think they lessened it in order to do the plea deal route?
I 100% think that it was lessened from the beginning. I mean, because we had several chances. Well, there were several points in the investigation that we had talked with the coroner, Kathy.
Sorry. Hi, Miss Potts. Hi, Miss Potts. I was listening to you earlier. I was going to play your show, but you had about 90 F-bombs in there, and I didn't know if that was legal. The one you put up earlier today, it was like 18 minutes or something. I liked a lot of your points, and I wanted to play it. But girlfriend, I don't think I can. Hi, Miss Potts. It's good to see you.
Mabit once, and then basically Bill Thompson and his team, the prosecution never really gave us anything because of the gag order. So then our next point was when the gag order was dropped, we were able to
I'm going to talk about that actually in a second. The DNA.
talk to the investigators the day before.
But he asked us to make a plea without even telling us what happened.
Yeah, the plea. So
This guy's a piece of.
but we started asking them, like, we still don't know how many times Kaylee has been
No
stabbed.
worries.
You know, like
We're about
we're
to
writing
make
victim
victim
impact statements. Can you tell us? And he said no, because the plea deal still stands, and that was within like days of it getting. But there was a date for it to get dropped, and if it gets dropped on this date, we could maybe arrange for you guys to talk to investigators really fast. So that did get dropped, and we did talk to investigators really fast.
So think about that. They're asking us to make a plea deal, to accept it, and they still haven't told us what's happened to our child. It's absolutely unacceptable. He's a disgusting prosecutor. We had no idea what had happened to our own child, let alone, and I argue, I need to know the totality of everything he did. I need to know what he did to Ethan. I need to know what Xana went through. I don't want to hear it, but I have to honor their sacrifice to make a plea deal, to make a deal. For him to rob us all of that just shows what a worth. This is why the FBI fled that town. We had 61 FBI officers. They took off and left.
61 FBI officers, 61 for a state case. Wild. That's a lot of FBI agents for this
Guy
town, huh?
had done things that they couldn't support. They couldn't stand, and they got out of there. And I wish I could have got my child out of this case. I wish I could have ripped Kaylee out of this case and said, we're taking her out of here. This dude isn't the right guy, but I didn't have that.
I think that honestly is what I think. I think it was to protect and to dumb it all down was to protect the university. I mean, that's personally what I think. Like,
bingo. At least they know.
They, you know, the whole University of Idaho murders, that was shedding bad light. That was shedding, and they're all UofI alum over there in Moscow. Other than that, I don't know why they would not have wanted the truth come out. And as hard as it is for us to speak about the truth, we have came out and we have spoke about the truth of what we know happened to Kaylee. I think that reading those papers saying that Kaylee was unrecognizable,
lost teeth.
That's what they said. They said apparently that they struggled to write their victim impact statements because they didn't even know what happened to their child. They didn't know how many wounds she had. They didn't know her teeth were knocked out. They didn't know any of that. So they said they struggled to write their victim impact statements. Apparently, I don't know how much of that I believe. I just know that that's what they said.
All that stuff has to play a part in the plea deal. And if you don't do it, you should be fired. You have a job as a prosecutor to take the totality of the actions of a killer and play them into your decision making. And when you literally say it doesn't matter, then you should be fired. And Thompson should be fired.
I'm going to go back.
I don't know.
I heard it too earlier when I was listening to this. I heard it.
But there was a date for it to get dropped. And if it gets dropped on this date, we could maybe arrange for you guys to talk to investigators really fast. So that did get dropped, and we did talk to investigators really fast.
Introducing Grammarly, like you've never seen before. Your all-in-one writing essential.
So think about that. They're asking us to make a plea deal, to accept it, and they still haven't told us what's happened to our child. It's absolutely unacceptable. He's a disgusting prosecutor. We had no idea what had happened to our own child, let alone, and I argue, I need to know the totality of everything he did. I need to know what he did to Ethan. I need to know what Xana went through. I don't want to hear it, but
I have it sped up, guys. That's why it's so fast. I have it at 1.5. Do you want me to put it? I'll put it down to 1.25. There we go. Sorry.
Have to honor their sacrifice to make a plea deal, to make a deal. For him to rob us all of that just shows what a worth. This is why the FBI fled that town. We had 61 FBI officers. They took off and left. This guy had done things that they couldn't support. They couldn't stand, and they got out of there. And I wish I could have got my child out of this case. I wish I could have ripped Kaylee out of this case and said, we're taking her out of here. This dude isn't the right guy, but I didn't have that.
Bang. Is he saying Brian isn't the right guy, or is he saying Bill Thompson as a prosecutor isn't the right guy, isn't handling the case correctly? You could really take that either way, to be honest. I mean,
I think
not
that
the right guy.
honestly is what I think. I think it was to protect and to dumb it all down was to protect the university. I mean, that's personally what I think. Like they, you know, the whole University of Idaho murders, that was shedding bad light. That was shedding, and they're all UofI alum over there in Moscow. Other than that, I don't know why they would not have wanted the truth come out. And as hard as it is for us to speak about the truth, we have came out and we have spoke about the truth of what we know happened to Kaylee. I think that reading those papers saying that Kaylee was unrecognizable,
lost teeth, all that stuff has to play a part in the plea deal. And if you don't do it, you should be fired. You have a job as a prosecutor to take the totality of the actions of a killer and play them into your decision making. And when you
But Steve, on the flip side, you can't say that Brian Koberger is the unaliver if you don't have any proof that he's the unaliver. If you didn't get him to say, hey, yeah, this is where I put the knife. This is where I put, the clothes. This is what I did at this minute, this minute, this minute. It took me this long. This is the order it happened. Why do we still not have the order that they were unalived in?
literally say it doesn't matter, then you should be fired. Thompson should be fired.
I don't know how he could have looked at those pictures of the kids the way they were and not said from the very beginning, I am going all the way with this.
There was a case.
I don't care.
They're sleeping in their beds.
I don't care.
He's a weak ass old man.
They were not sleeping in their dang beds. So I'm going to assume just by that statement, he still doesn't know what happened. Because Lord D, Hunty, they were not asleep. They were not in their beds.
Thing that is going to prevent me. I am not playing games with this guy. I'm not making plea deals with him. No. So what was it? Was he tired? Was he lazy?
Was he already retired? Does he have Alzheimer's, which we've heard?
He said it at sentencing. He said it on the Drunk Dodo show. He said it over and over on his media tour. He said it over and over. We had your car on day one. Day one, we had your car. We knew it was, calling him an idiot because he left the sheath. He left the sheath behind. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's been saying this the whole time. So I don't know what he's talking about. Just a walking contradiction, just like this whole case.
The University of Idaho and trying to take the light off that, because obviously University of Idaho runs that town. Its well-being is very important for that town to run. I don't know. I don't know, but how can you in and said the lady on the left was unrecognizable? I think that reading that,
stop pleading with
on
this.
that,
This is a terrorist. This is a psychopath.
Changed me. All this has changed me in different ways. That day, I'll never forget the moment where we were at. We were in the car when I read that. And I think that I kind of went back into some shock on that day. And I don't know if I'm still completely out of it. It's crazy the way that.
Shush. We just have a little bit of this left because I do want to talk about a few more things. Maybe if I can get there.
AG's office.
Oh, that's the wrong time anymore.
Sorry to interrupt, but this is important. The shooter who murdered my sweet little Daniel.
Hey, you can't say that on YouTube, mister. Let's see. Let's go here.
Or the families. Like, we can't talk about our kids, but
yeah, great point. Yeah, solid. And how does it make you feel today? Well, we know how it makes you feel today.
It always is.
But we can't imagine what it felt like when you were seeing it play out in real time. And this, dirtbag hasn't even pled yet. Okay. And they have all of this information tucked back there, and we're gonna go get this guy raw. Okay. Oh, by the way, it's over. Okay. Thanks, guys. See you later. And we're going on a movie tour or whatever the deal is going to be, right? Meanwhile, the horror is you're experiencing it. And Gary, am I off?
Jeff H., it's not really the greatest. It's kind of mostly just the same stuff that we've heard on every other interview, every other channel. Yeah, it's not really. They were kind of bitching. I knew I did want to play it, but I'm only playing what the G's are saying, and I have it sped up a little bit. So we're not playing 2 hours worth over here.
Everything that happened to our kids, and they went and did a media tour and treated the freaking cameras better than they treated the victims' families. That's what they did. And they just freaking stake in the ground and say, if you're going to be this disrespectful to us, if you're going to be this disgusting and gross to our family.
Christina, I heard that as well. I'm pretty sure it was Steve who said Kaylee was slid down the wall and was sitting up but slumped over. Yeah, those details are oddly specific for me to make up. I very, very distinctly remember him saying that. I want to say he was on Drunk Dodo when he said that, but
yeah. I'm going to have to sit here and do hour-long interviews over and over and over. And I'm going, luckily for him, he's 70-some years old. His career's over. It's probably why he was given the case and not somebody with a younger, that would have been like, didn't want to ruin their career.
That's a good point.
He didn't care. He's at the point where he's going to retire. He's willing to take it for the team. And the team is going to be those universities there. But everybody sees through this. Everybody looks at these facts and looks at, like,
well, hopefully
Charlie Kirk has got more transparency in his case in like the first 24 hours than we had in 2 years. I mean, we've seen him running on the roof. We've seen him with a gun in his back pocket down his thing, and he's limping. We see all that stuff. We see his text messages. We see all that stuff. But
you see his text messages. You see all that stuff, huh?
Handle them into the fairness of it, because it's like there's an old saying that says grief is love that has nowhere else to go. It bottles up and you don't know what to do with it, and it swims and suffocates you and all of that. I wanted to take an opportunity to ask the two of you, what is emotionally happening to you? How are you feeling? I mean, the anniversary of the murders is coming up, the holidays are coming up, and the experience of the empty chair at Thanksgiving and Christmas time and all of that. I know that feeling.
Why is this dude acting like this crime just happened this year and it's the first Christmas or the first Thanksgiving without their family member? This has been 3
Karen
years.
knows this feeling all too well. How are you doing? I haven't seen anybody ask you. How
it's hard. I mean, actually, even stepping into November for me.
She hates the word November.
I literally hate the word November. So everything is kind of, snowballing right now. It'd be especially hard. And
I am not void of emotion. I do think that would be hard to be in their shoes. I just couldn't see myself doing the things they're doing as far as, interviews and the things they're saying. And honey, don't come on here. Read I wish they would just sit down and read the words of every document and put it together. Read it from start to finish. Bet you wouldn't land on Bryan Kohberger.
in public, it's hard to be, it's hard not just to stay in my bed.
Am I having technical difficulties? Hold on, let me check everything real quick. Huh. I don't mind, says it's okay. Oh. I don't know what it could be. The sound is not good. Hold on. Let me see. Is it better? Can you hear me? My audio is skippy. It's not me. It's got to be StreamYard. That's why I need to. Thank you. 1 second. Hello, can you hear me now? Is it better? Idaho is glitchy. Haha, that's funny. Pete's audio is doing it too. Okay. Well, yeah, it's definitely not me because I get little bars and stuff when I talk or whatever. So it's better. Okay. Okay. Thank you guys. I thank you for that actually because last week my last live, it was actually only picking up my audio from my webcam and I didn't know it. And then I was
not
pissy
deal with
after the show
anything
because
or anyone besides my loved ones. I just want to hide from it all. Everything is terrifying. Everything is scary. Everything hurts. Everything, everything reminds me of Kaylee. But you know, it just is constant reminder that she is not here, and everything seems like to be a triggering point. A dog barking, you know, white cars, you know, and you just go out and you just want to put like blinders on. I mean, the word November, the 13th.
Fingernails, trying to tell us there's fingernail clippings of our child. The things that they did to our child without even telling us, you know, like
just hard.
You think your kid, you know, your kid gets murdered and you think that you'd know that they were.
Okay, so when I talk, is it glitchy or is it just the audio from playing a YouTube video? I'm just going to take it off. There wasn't, but I think a minute left that I wanted to play anyways. Am I glitchy? It's got to be stream. I hate StreamYard. This is the worst. I am. All right. I'm probably just going to have to hop off in a minute. I just wanted to show a couple of things. Is it too glitchy to where I can't even talk to you guys? Both? Dang. I don't know. It's got to be StreamYard. I'll look into a different streaming service and get a new one tomorrow. Is it too glitchy to even understand what I'm saying? I only know gang signs. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I don't know sign language. Okay, I won't. I'll just keep talking. So if you can hear me, then cool, I guess. Okay. Let me share this screen. Oh no, I wanted to share something else with you first. Hold on. Uno momento. I got something else for you. Fizzy. Miss Fizzy. Dang it. That's not what I wanted to add. I want to add this one. But hey, yeah, I just figured it out. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay, stop. Okay, but stop. Wrong one. Okay, if you guys see at the very bottom, so Fizzy sent me this and oh my God, why? Now this bar won't go away. Anyways, okay, so Fizzy sent me this email, and when she was looking up Scott Green, the president of UofI, she came across this, and it's basically like a resume for him, and it says he works for University of Idaho, and then before that, he worked for another company. Company was bought for over $1 billion. Hogan's Levels. And then the next one says he was the director management board from 2012 to 2015. And it says what kind of company that is. And that company is investigative and compliance Louis free. Did anybody know that? Because I sure didn't. And when I saw that, it's directly from his LinkedIn. Thank you, Fizzy. Fizzy's the one who found this and sent it to me. And I found this very interesting. Oh, did you, Lucy? I didn't even see it. I find this very, very Oh, his actual resume. Was there more on it? Then that is insane. Compliance. It's like Scott Green and compliance together. There's an oxymoron. Okay, I also then wanted to show this is Jose Cruz. This is who was breaking into females' houses dressed all in black, standing over them with a knife, literally a day before this crime happened. Just so you guys have a face to the name. Oh, okay, Lucy. Yeah, I didn't see that you posted that. I would have definitely been interested in that had I seen it. Yep. Isn't that wild? I think that's wild. Did you, Jeff? That's crazy. All right, let me take this off and we'll share this one if I can get to it. Oh, where is it? Oh, you know what? This isn't even going to work. I wanted to touch base on just the, I was going to show the Grub truck, but everybody's playing it. And honestly, there's not much to the Grub truck, in my opinion, unless being contacted and what's really on the phones that everybody's watching, you know, stuff like that. But I'll save the Grub truck. We were going to go over the sheath. I just wanted to talk about it really super quick. Maybe if I can get to it quickly. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There we go. Come on, come on. There we go. I'm really curious on your guys' opinion about the sheath. Sorry, it's moved over because I have it zoomed in. I can't get it. So I just find it really, really strange that how did law enforcement know to take this sheath and swab a random spot on the strap? Like, you have red fluid evidence in front of your face. Although you do swab it and you know it's an unidentified male, you choose not to test that at all. Instead, you're like, oh, can't see DNA, can't see trace DNA, but let me just swab this random area and hope for the best. How did they know to swab this area to find trace DNA? How? I get it in hindsight, but how did you know in that moment that's where you needed to swab? Because that's not enough DNA for Brian Koberger to even touched it with his own hands. That is not a primary transfer. So how did they know to swab in that area? And I completely agree that the sheath is should be covered. So we have reports, right? We have in the reports, one of them says it was found by Maddie's right side on top of the blanket. One said it was found by her, but under the blanket. One says it was found on her left side. I'm sure they just have the, you know, your view for which side. I get that could happen or whatever, but why does one say it was on top of the blanket and one says it was under the blanket? Either way, that should have been covered in fluid. Covered. I'm picturing where it would be covered in red fluid. The fact we don't see that much red fluid, the fact the red fluid we do see, to me, is consistent with spatter from a pew-pew rather than sharp force. And also, at what point, if we have a missed pattern, I'm thinking that it would be more so Kaylee's red fluid. I know it said both. So that means it would have had to have been dropped before anybody even touched one of the victims, if both red fluid is on it, but it's not in droplets, it's not on it because it was soaking up red fluid from laying on the bed, it's on it from some sort of spatter. So is red fluid on this, on there as spatter? Doesn't that mean the sheath would have had to have been dropped prior to Maddie being attacked and prior to Kaylee being attacked? Doesn't that only make sense, or am I just losing it? Yeah, I did see the fiber looking thing on the strap. So maybe, excuse me, maybe that's why they chose to swab there. I just find it strange, like, especially the fact that up until a couple of days ago, we were told that it was on the button snap. I don't understand. Hi, Leslie and Billy. Right. If he's the unaliver of all of them, his DNA would be on it. If they want to claim he was touching it because his skin cells are on there, then I would think it would be on there a lot. You know what I mean? Yeah. Nothing to swab further. All used up. You're thinking the strap would be a common place to swab, or the button? I mean, I get it. I get what you're saying. I just think it's, I don't know. I just think it's strange. I would think, well, I guess we're trying to get prints from the button. I guess I would just think to test the red fluid that you know is on there, that you know you have unidentified male DNA, but you don't take the time to test that, but you're going to swab the sheath in a random spot for, you know what I mean? I get that it might be a common place. I mean, it's a smaller object. I would think that if you're going to hold it and things like that, touch DNA, skin cell DNA. I don't know. I just figured you would be testing the red fluid that you can see with your eyeballs. You know it's there first. Hey, let's not test the doorknobs, windows, fingernails of the victims, red fluid, pillows, glove, outside in the front, any of that. I do real quick want to talk about, before I leave you, because this is the last thing, because I've got to go. 1 second, let me find it. I guess I don't have to find it to talk about it, but what do you guys think of the pink and green jacket and the heart blanket found in Dylan's room? I don't know why, but I always pictured it being just a really small amount, like the amount that you see on a blanket almost. Because I know a lot of people, especially guilters, were saying, oh, she probably cut herself shaving, and that's how it seems to have quite a bit more than I expected. Right. So the thing is they find this, they know it's red fluid, but still don't look at them as a suspect. The only two people that were in the house, they don't even go as far as to test whose DNA is on this jacket. I mean, I'm sure nobody intended to, even the real perpetrator intended to leave the knife sheath. I just think if it's buckled to your belt, wouldn't you notice it coming off? Wouldn't it have to be like a super hard yank to even get that snap, and how it even got there? And to have the pattern that we see on the knife sheath of red fluid, it's a super fine mist. To even have that pattern, it would have had to, and to have it be Maddie's red fluid on there as well, the sheath would have had to come off before he even unalived either of them. So how would that even be possible? Maybe he handled it over at Kopaka's apartment. Maybe. Wouldn't doubt it. I'm just curious what you guys think of this jacket. I expected to see less, and the fact that it's more and they never tested it is absurd. That they chose to look into further, wasted their time and money and everything on. But you've got stuff right in front of your face you can be testing, and you're not, and then all of a sudden the fridge breaks. But you've got dry samples, so that shouldn't matter anyway. Ugh, it's like they think we're stupid. Speaking of that, I think the whole Molly angle, I think they purposely released her body cams and information to get a feel of what the public thought of it. And when Molly got completely ripped to shreds by YouTubers and the public, they were like, oh, plea deal. We can't, yeah, nobody believes this. Plea deal. Because honestly, it was within days of that coming out that a plea deal was offered to the defense, not the other way around. That's what I'm not understanding. Wouldn't it be attached to a belt? So we've got this person now carrying a change of clothes, a vacuum, dressed as a firefighter or whatever they said, pew-pew, a knife, a sheath, all of this stuff he's just carrying around. How is a knife sheath for it to be buckled to where it's supposed to be buckled at? And that you would feel it, because it would have to be a super hard yank to get that snap to unsnap. And you would notice it. You would feel it. So then what did he do? Let's play a game and say, yes, it was Bryan Kohberger. What did he do then? He dropped the sheath and carried all this stuff and then carried the knife, which would have been dripping in red fluid all through the house, but yet there was not one drop of red fluid found through the house. Make it make freaking sense. I don't understand. And then the only reason we even have a picture of this jacket or have anything to do with this jacket is because Ann Taylor specifically asked for it. Was going to have it tested. So Ann Taylor asked, hey, where's this red fluid filled jacket and blanket at? Because I want it. They had to go drive all the way back to Dylan's house to get this stuff and then bring it back to evidence. How could it even be used then? This is why, I mean, it's just wild, right? Why would she keep a red fluid jacket? Maybe because they had planned to clean it but didn't have enough time. I don't know. But when the prosecution or law enforcement gave Dylan her jacket back, she claims to not recognize the jacket. And that's when I say, well, of course, I would say I didn't recognize it either if I did something wrong and had a jacket with red fluid all over it sitting in my bedroom. Of course, I would say, I don't even know where that came from. Of course, I would do that. Right. And there's no consequence. So, actually, Colin says, how about Maddie had something in that black jacket she was wearing that night, and then the black jacket was found the next day by the fire hydrant? I agree that MPD took something out of the jacket. So, two things. Now that we see that there's undergarments in the street, and we also already knew that Maddie's jacket was found by the fire hydrant, and the victims didn't have undergarments on. Is that how Maddie's jacket got there as well? Because, you know, it got there at the same time the undergarments got in the street because there was possibly a crime committed already outside. But I do have to tell you guys, and watch them pick it up. Before they pick it up, the officer that I think throws it back down, I could be wrong, could be the other one. The officer puts his walkie-talkie between his legs, and then he handles the jacket. When he throws the jacket back down, he pulls the walkie-talkie out of from between his legs at the exact same time. So it looks like they pulled something from the pocket of the jacket when it was actually his walkie-talkie he was pulling back out from between his legs. You have to zoom in and you have to slow it down, but I promise you, if you watch it, slow down, he's not pulling anything from the pocket. It's just his walkie-talkie that he placed between his legs. Sorry, I know that everybody thinks that there was something with that and something in the pocket, and people were putting more weight into Maddie's jacket than really should have been put on it. But I do still think weight should be put on that jacket, especially now that we see undergarments in the street in the same area. So just to let you guys know, there wasn't something pulled out of the pocket. Christina. Oh, Lordy. I think Molly, yes, Molly saw the undercover. She did not see Brian. I think Molly was placed. I think Molly was specifically picked out to play a role in this crime. She was a character. That's why she walked in front of 1112 camera to show her face so she could be the witness. And they could go with this very well. Then it wasn't used. That's when we got a plea deal. There's a lot of things actually going on with Molly. I want to go over that again. It's not going to be tonight, but I do want to go over the fact of her walking by on the video camera. If you pay attention and you listen in her interview, she starts talking camera locations in that area. Why would you know that? That makes me think that it's all like she purposely showed her face on that camera. But anyways, guys, I gotta hop off because I have to be somewhere very important recorded tomorrow evening. But other than that, I will see you Wednesday. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I have the most amazing mods in the world. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much to Bianca and for On Top. I appreciate you guys very much. I think that's it. Do something nice for yourself. Be kind, but more importantly, be kind to your animals. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Yes, I'll give Bronxy lots of lovies. Thank you, Fizzy, for all that you do as well, because you always send me some really amazing emails, and I appreciate you. Yes, take care. Be safe. I will give Bronxy all the hugs. And never forget, I paid that bill. Bye, guys.